YouTube, how are you doing? Sonata Helsica signing in. Today I'm gonna be talking about how DPS characters in Star Wars The Old Republic have more responsibility in a group than most people realize. Here is how. As you can see, I'm jumping into a battle but notice that I'm not playing as a tank right now. But you can still see me manipulating the aggro as I'm battling these enemies. And if I stop attacking them, they will eventually go for my healer. In the next part I'm gonna show you that even if there is a tank in the group, the DPSers can still manipulate the aggro and even steal it out of the tank's control. This is what happens in most cases when a DPS starts damaging an enemy before a tank, or maybe even when the tank has just started attacking you. The only way Skadge is keeping aggro right now is because of his taunt. What you DPSers need to know is that a companion tank can taunt twice as often as the players. In this case, had the tank been a player, he would never be able to grab the aggro back at the end, because both the taunt abilities would be on cooldown. Here I'm just gonna put my DPS companion on passive while I build up aggro. Now that I have blown the aggro out of proportion compared to my DPS companion, we will see what happens when she starts attacking. The only thing I'm doing right now is using defense abilities to prevent myself from dying. As you can see, the enemy never turns around to attack Nadia. The reason for this is that the aggro system works like a race that goes indefinitely until the battle is over. So if you give the tank a 6-second head start on a cluster of enemies that you want to AoE damage, for example, you are most likely not gonna steal aggro from him. And also be aware that if a tank taunts an enemy, that does not mean you are off the hook. If the tank does not pass you in the race, as I was calling it, during the taunt effect's duration, the enemy is not going to stay on the tank when the effect wears off. If there is a healer in the group and the enemies are spread out so widely that the tank can't touch all enemies right away when he jumps in, these enemies will automatically go for the healer and if no one else touches them. The tank often would need help from you DPSers to just touch these enemies with an attack just to keep them off the healers. So, if you play Star Wars The Old Republic, make sure you make all your DPS friends watch this video, so nobody would blame the tanks for all the screw-ups that happens. I mean, when the majority of people in the Red Eclipse server doesn't know what I just showed in this video, there's no wonder why nobody wants to be tank.